If you've sent out tons of resumes and basically heard nothing back, it's not because the job market hates you. It's not bad luck. And it's definitely not because your experience isn't good enough. It's because the resume game has changed quietly. And nobody sent you the memo. And look, that's not your fault. The advice that's been floating around the internet for the last decade, a lot of it is either outdated, oversimplified, or flat out wrong. Like someone who hasn't hired anyone 15 years wrong. Here's what's actually happening. People landing jobs right now, sometimes jobs that look way out of reach on paper, they're not doing the same thing that you're doing. They've figured out something that most job seekers just haven't caught on to yet. And today, you're going to catch on. My name is Mary Southern. I'm the founder of Resume Assassin. I've helped over 4,000 people land jobs at places like Microsoft, Google, Netflix, Tesla, and so many more. So when I tell you that the resume game is shifting, I'm not saying that from a LinkedIn hot take. I'm saying it because I'm watching it happen in real time. This video is going to give you the things that are actually working right now in this market. Stuff that might sound a little bit weird, stuff that absolutely contradicts what your college career center told you, and stuff that you can start applying before this video is even over. So if you're job searching right now, or you will be soon, stay with me, because what you're about to hear isn't just another use keywords pep talk. This is the next phase of resumes, and most people aren't ready for it. Okay, let's go. All right, let's start with the elephant in the room. The ATS, the applicant tracking system, that scary robot overlord that supposedly eats your resume alive before a human even sees it. Here's the thing. ATS is real. It exists, but the fear around it has been so overblown, so monetized, so turned into a product that people are selling you that it's actually made your resume worse. Let me explain. You've probably heard stuff your resume with keywords, match the job description word for word. Use standard formatting so the bot can read it. And sure, there's a kernel of truth to that. Keywords matter. Formatting matters. But here's what nobody's telling you. You have to get past the bot. But then a human has to also want to read it. And right now, the dominant strategy out there is optimizing so hard for that machine that the resume becomes just completely robotic to the actual person reviewing it. It reads like a terms and conditions document. No story, no texture, just a wall of buzzwords that check boxes and feels like absolutely nothing. Think about it like food. You could make a protein shake that fits every single macro perfectly. It's technically the ideal nutrition, but if it tastes like chalk, you're not finishing it. The hiring manager is the person that has to drink that shake, and they've had 80 of them today. Here's the real move. Write your resume for the human first, then check it against the job description for keywords second. Lead with language that's compelling, specific, and sounds like a real person achieved real things. Then weave in the relevant terminology from the job description naturally, not as a keyword dump at the bottom of your resume in white font. Yes, people do actually still do this, and no, it doesn't work the way that you think. The ATS gets you in the door. The human decides if you get the interview. Your resume has to do both jobs. Most people are only training for one of them. This might be the mindset shift that changes everything for you. Most people treat their resume like a form they have to fill out, like it's a legal document, factual, chronological, complete. And that instinct honestly makes sense because that's literally how we've been taught to think about it. But here's the thing. No one is hiring your job history. They're hiring you, your results, your trajectory, your potential. And right now, your resume needs to sell that, not just list it. Think about any product page that you've ever truly been convinced by. Apple doesn't put a spec sheet on the front of their website. They don't lead with processor type, M4 chip. They lead with what it does for you, the feeling, the outcome. Then they back it up with details. Your resume should work exactly the same way. And here's a stat that might make this hit just a little bit differently. The average corporate job posting receives around 250 applications. That's not a stack. That's a haystack. And you need to be the needle that someone notices. A marketing asset absolutely earns attention. A filled out form gets skimmed and tossed. So what does a resume as a marketing asset actually look like in practice? It leads strong. not with objective, to obtain a position that utilizes my skills. Nobody wants that. It leads with a headline, a crisp, specific headline that says exactly what you are and what you bring, like a billboard, not a cover letter. Something like operations leader, scaling teams from 10 to 100 plus, 3 times revenue growth track record. That's 3 seconds. That's a hiring manager who keeps reading. It speaks to outcomes, not duties. It's organized to guide the eye, not overwhelm it. And it's tailored, not copy-pasted for every job you apply to, but actually shaped around what the specific employer is actually looking for. Yes, that does take just a little bit more effort, but 250 applications means the generic version isn't just underperforming, it's invisible. Okay, this one is personal for me because it's the one that I see the most. Across industries, across experience levels, across everything. You've done the real work. You've solved real problems. You've made things better at every single job you've ever had. And none of it is on your resume. Not really, because what most resumes have instead is this: manage social media accounts for the company, or responsible for client communications, or my personal favorite, assisted with various projects. That's not an accomplishment. That's a job description. And there is a massive career-altering difference between the two. Here's the truth. Hiring managers spend, on average, 6 to 7 seconds on an initial resume scan. That's less time than it takes to microwave your leftovers. They're not reading, they're scanning for a signal. And the signal they're looking for is impact. So if your bullets are describing what your job was instead of what you did in that job, you're not giving them signal. You're giving them noise. Here are 2 formulas that will immediately fix this. The first is CAR, challenge, action, result. What was the problem or situation? What did you specifically do? What happened because of it? Identified a 23% drop in customer retention, redesigned the onboarding and email sequence, and recovered $180K in projected annual revenue within 1 quarter. That's a story in 1 sentence. That's a reason to call you. The second is XYZ from Google's own hiring framework. Accomplished X as measured by Y by doing Z. Grew organic traffic by 140% in 6 months by restructuring the content calendar and implementing topic cluster strategy. Numbers are not optional. I know a lot of people say, but my job isn't numbers-based. Yes, it is. Everything is measurable somehow. Team size, timeline, budget, percentage improvement, volume of clients, scale of projects. If you're having trouble quantifying something, that's the work. Do that work, because the resume that has numbers beats the resume that doesn't almost every single time. And if you genuinely don't know the exact numbers, estimate and flag it. Reduce processing time by approximately 30% is 1,000 times better than helped improve efficiency. Okay, I'm gonna say something that's going to free a lot of you. You are allowed to have a 2-page resume. There. I said it. The 1-page rule is one of the most persistent myths in career advice, passed down from generation to generation like a bad family recipe that nobody questions because grandma made it. Keep it to 1 page. Recruiters won't read past the first page. 1 page or nothing. This advice made sense in an era where resumes were printed and physically mailed, when page 2 might literally fall off of a desk or get lost. We are absolutely not in that era. We're in an era of PDFs, digital applications, and hiring managers reading on screens. Here's the actual rule. Resumes should be as long as it needs to be and no longer. If you have less than 10 years of experience, genuinely relevant experience, and can make a compelling case in 1 page, great. Do that. If you have 10, 15, 20 years of experience and you're cramming everything onto 1 page by using 9-point font and 1/2-inch margins, you're actively hurting yourself. You look like someone who doesn't understand that their experience has value, and you're making your resume nearly unreadable. 2 pages, when used correctly, gives you room to breathe, room to tell a fuller story, room to include the accomplishments that got cut from the 1-page version. accomplishments that might be exactly what gets you the interview. And the key word here is correctly. 2 pages doesn't mean padding. It doesn't mean repeating yourself, including every job from high school, or adding filler sections just to fill space. Every line on page 2 should earn its place. If it doesn't add to your case for the job, cut it. Here's a quick gut check. If you read page 2 and it makes you feel like a stronger candidate, keep it. If it reads like leftovers you couldn't get yourself to throw away, cut it. Okay, this is probably the most underutilized strategy that I see, and it's genuinely making a difference for the people who are using it. Your resume can have a personality. Not a weird personality, not unprofessional, but a distinct one. One that makes it clear that there's a specific human being behind this document, not just a set of credentials floating in a Word template. Think about what recruiters are experiencing right now. They're reading dozens, sometimes hundreds of resumes every single week. The vast majority of them look and sound the same. Same fonts, same bullet structure, same generic phrases, same everything. It's like eating at a buffet where every dish has been seasoned with nothing. The resumes that get remembered, the ones that get pulled back out of the pile, have something that makes them feel like they were written by a person who actually knows who they are. So how do you put personal branding on a resume without making it look like a MySpace page? A few things. First, a headline. We talked about this, but it's worth repeating. A strong headline at the top of your resume, right under your name, does double duty. It tells the reader exactly what you are, and it sets a tone. It's the first thing that they read. Make it count. Second, a personal branding statement or a professional summary. 3 to 5 sentences max. This is not an objective. This is not, I'm a hardworking professional seeking opportunities. This is a punchy, confident, first-person adjacent paragraph that explains what you bring to the table and why you're different from other people in that pile. Think of it like your trailer. The trailer for a movie doesn't tell you the whole plot. It makes you want to watch. Third, strategic visual hierarchy. This one is subtle, but it matters. The way your resume is laid out visually tells a story before anyone reads a word. Bold the things that matter the most. Use white space intentionally. Make it easy for a 6-second scanner to find your name, your title, and your top accomplishment without having to search. You're not designing a brochure, but you are creating something that should feel considered, not accidental. That doesn't mean go wild with colors and graphics unless you're in the creative field. It means be intentional, because intentionality reads as confidence, and confidence is, honestly, one of the most underrated things a resume can communicate. Okay, real talk time. And I say this knowing that AI tools are genuinely useful. I occasionally use them. I recommend them. But there's a trap here, and you need to know about it. Everyone is using AI to write their resume right now. Like everyone. And it's creating a problem that's starting to show up in real hiring conversations. Recruiters are noticing. And what they're noticing is a sea of resumes that sound weirdly the same. The same sentence structures, the same adjectives, the same vague but confident sounding phrases. Results-driven professional with a proven track record of leveraging cross-functional synergies to drive stakeholder value. That sentence means nothing. And ChatGPT loves it. AI-generated resumes used carelessly don't just fail to stand out, they can actively raise red flags. Some companies are now using tools to detect AI-heavy content in application materials. And beyond detection, there's just the human gut check of reading something that sounds like it was written by a very confident robot who has never actually held a job. Here's the thing, though. AI is not the enemy. Lazy AI use is. AI is incredible for certain parts of the resume process. Need to figure out which keywords to pull from a job description? Great use. Want to brainstorm different ways to phrase an accomplishment? Perfect. Need help structuring your summary paragraph? Go for it. But the final voice on your resume needs to sound like you, because the hiring manager is going to meet you. They're going to read your resume, and then they're going to talk to you. And if those two things don't match, That's a big problem. So here's how to actually use AI well for your resume. First, feed it your raw material. Don't ask it to invent your experience. Give it your actual accomplishments, even the messy, unpolished version, and ask it to help you articulate them more clearly. You're the source material. It's the editor. Second, always rewrite it in your own voice. Take what AI gives you and make it sound like a human who wrote it. Specifically, like you wrote it. Third, check the output against the job description manually. AI will sometimes optimize for general impressiveness rather than specific relevance. You want specific relevance. AI is a power tool. Power tools are great. Power tools used carelessly cut off fingers. Use it right. Okay, last one. And this might be the most important thing in this entire video. Here's a number that might change how you think about your job search entirely. Somewhere between 70 and 80% of jobs are never publicly posted. And that's not a rumor. That's a widely reported reality about how hiring actually works, especially at more senior levels. Roles get filled through referrals, through LinkedIn reach outs, through someone mentioning your name in the right room. The Apply Here button represents a fraction of what's actually available, which means the resume you've been building, the one optimized for job board applications, is only one tool in a toolkit that needs to be much bigger. Enter the cold resume. A cold resume is a version of your resume built specifically for direct outreach. Sliding into someone's DMs on LinkedIn, emailing a hiring manager directly, reaching out to a recruiter who hasn't posted anything yet. It's shorter, punchier, and designed to make someone stop scrolling, read for 30 seconds, and think, I need to talk to this person. Here's what's different about it. It's typically one page, no exceptions. You're competing with someone's inbox and attention span, not a structured application review. It leads with your most compelling hook immediately, not your full work history, your most relevant, most impressive thing, front and center. It has a clear, direct ask built into how it's framed. Not, here's my entire background, hope it's relevant, but here's exactly why I'm reaching out to you specifically and what I bring to the table. And here's the piece that most people miss. You don't just blast this to 100 people. You research. You identify companies who you actually want to work for. You find the actual decision maker or a relevant team leader. And you reach out with a message that references something specific about them or their company. And attach or reference your cold resume. Is it more work per application? Yes. Does it have a dramatically higher hit rate than throwing your resume into an ATS black hole and just hoping? Also, yes. The people landing jobs right now aren't just applying harder. They're applying smarter. And this is what smarter looks like. Okay, let's land this thing. Here's what you just walked through, and more importantly, here's what you can actually do with it today. The ATS is not your final boss. The human reading after the bot is. Right for them. Your resume isn't a form. It's a marketing asset. Make it earn attention. Stop describing your job. Start documenting your impact. Numbers are not optional. 2 pages is allowed if you've earned 2 pages. Use them well. Put yourself in the document. A resume with a personality and a point of view gets remembered. Use AI as a tool, not a ghostwriter. Your voice matters more than ever because everyone else is outsourcing theirs. And finally, go find the jobs that aren't posted. Build a cold resume. Do the reach out. The hidden job market is real, and it's waiting for people who are willing to show up differently. Look, the job search is one of the most exhausting, confusing, emotionally draining things a person can go through. And you're doing it while probably still working or managing life or both. That deserves respect. But you also deserve a resume that actually reflects who you are. A resume that stops a hiring manager mid-scroll. One that gets you in rooms that match your actual potential. That resume is possible. It's just built differently than what most people are making right now. If you want help making it, that's exactly what I do at Resume Assassin. Head over to resumeassassin.com today and schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me. I'd love to learn more about you, your background, and what your goals are moving forward. And if this video helped you even just a little bit, share it with someone in your circle who's job searching right now, because they probably need to hear this too. And if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button. I release new videos every Wednesday. I'll see you in the next one.